My name is Sierra Vance. I'm 30 years old, and my life is built on creating beautiful spaces. As an interior designer in Bend, Oregon, I find harmony in color and texture. But that night, the only thing being designed was my downfall. Our family dinner was a familiar scene. The soft clink of porcelain, the steam rising from a bowl of roasted potatoes, the low hum of the refrigerator. I was in the middle of a story, laughing about a client who wanted neon pink flocked wallpaper in their library, when my father's hand came down on the table. The impact made the silverware jump. "Sierra." His voice was low, a dangerous contrast to the previous warmth. "This house," he continued, his eyes cold and unwavering, "belongs to your brother now." My fork, laden with green beans, froze midair. "What?" "This house," he continued, "belongs to your brother now." The air vanished from the room. My brother, Carter, who chased skyscrapers and Wall Street dreams in New York, hadn't lived here in 5 years. Meanwhile, I had poured $60,000 of my own savings into this place, saving it from foreclosure, replacing the rotting roof, buying every single piece of furniture in this very dining room. My mother's gaze was fixed on her napkin, which she was twisting into a tight spiral. My father leaned back, arms crossed, the verdict delivered. A hot, sick feeling coiled in my stomach. But I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I simply placed my fork down carefully and nodded. "Okay." They mistook my silence for surrender. They thought I was broken. As I stood and walked calmly to my room, a single, clear thought cut through the chaos. This is their first and last mistake. If your family ever made you feel invisible, if you know what it's like to be betrayed by the people who are supposed to love you most, then you understand this pain. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is right now in the comments. It helps me feel less alone in this. Subscribe to the channel if you believe, like I do, that family shouldn't get to break you. They should have to face the consequences. Your support means everything. The next morning, I woke in my childhood room, the pale seafoam green I'd painted the walls now feeling like a taunt. My father's words echoed in the silence. How could they do this? The memory of the bank's foreclosure threat 3 years ago was seared into my mind. I was 27, my career just a seedling, but I uprooted my entire future, my down payment for my own life, to save this house. I didn't just pay the debt, I revived it. I sanded the floors, hung the curtains, and chose the stone for the kitchen counters. This wasn't just a house. It was my heart, poured into every nail and brushstroke. And Carter? He'd call with grand tales that never materialized, while my parents hung on every word. I was the one keeping the lights on, listening to them brag about his potential as I scrubbed the counters I'd paid for. The injustice was a constant low hum in my life, but I'd accepted it until now. I needed a plan. I needed answers. My first call was to my best friend Maya, a lawyer whose mind is a steel trap. "Something's off," she said the moment I finished explaining the dinner ultimatum. "If they're transferring the house, it's financial. Have they taken out new loans?" Her question was a spark in the dark. I scrolled through my contacts and called Ben Carter, a no-nonsense bank manager I'd done a design for last year. I owed him nothing, but he owed me a favor. "Ben, I need a favor. It's urgent." An hour later, he called back, his tone grim. "Sierra, you're not going to like this. There's a home equity loan for $60,000, taken out 6 months ago. Your parents and brother are co-borrowers, but you're the primary. You're liable for every penny. My blood ran cold. I never signed anything. I'm emailing you the agreement now. When I opened the file, my world tilted. There was my name, and there was a signature, a clumsy forgery, the loops of my S too rigid, the tail of my A too short. They hadn't just taken my money and my labor, they had stolen my identity to fund Carter's failed return. Betrayal, sharp and acidic, washed over me. This wasn't just unfair, it was a crime. It's identity theft, Sierra, Maya confirmed, her voice sharp with focus. We can fight this. Start gathering evidence. Every receipt, every bank statement. We're going to war. I climbed into the dusty attic, my heart pounding a war drum. After rifling through boxes of old tax returns, I found it. A folder stuffed with bank statements and a carbon copy of the same loan agreement, my forged signature staring back at me from the past. The proof was in my hands. The pieces snapped together. Carter's sudden return to Bend 6 months ago, tail between his legs. My parents' sudden eviction notice. They needed me out so Carter can have the house, and they needed my name to pay for it. Rage, cold and solid, replaced the hurt. They'd given me 48 hours. Fine. I would use them. I made a list of every item I had purchased for the house. The deep emerald sofa, the smart TV, the washer and dryer, the custom-made curtains. Then I called a moving company. I need a same-day pickup, I said, my voice unnervingly steady. As I waited for the movers, my neighbor, Eleanor, came over with a fresh baked loaf of banana bread. I saw you pacing, dear. Everything all right? The kindness nearly broke me. I gave her the abridged version. Her face hardened with understanding. You've been the soul of this house, Sierra. Everyone on this street has seen it. Don't you let them forget that. Her words were a shield. When the movers arrived, I directed them with precision, watching as the life I'd built into this house was carefully carted away. The living room stood bare and echoing, a hollow shell. The silence was broken by the front door slamming open. Carter stood there, his face a mask of fury. "What the hell did you do?" he roared, gesturing at the emptiness. "Where is everything? This is my house." "I took what's mine," I said, crossing my arms. "You know, the things I actually paid for." "You don't get to decide that," he spat, stepping closer. "You're supposed to be gone." I didn't flinch. I reached into my bag and held up the loan agreement. "I know about the $60,000, the one you took out in my name." His bravado flickered. "You're lying. The signature is forged. It's identity theft. I'm filing a lawsuit tomorrow. You can explain your big deal to a judge." The color drained from his face. He fumbled for his phone, sputtering threats as she called our parents. But the power had shifted. I held the proof. I held the truth. At Maya's apartment, we built our case brick by brick. The forged loan, my bank records, affidavits from neighbors who had watched me rebuild the house with my own hands. The lawsuit was a work of brutal, beautiful truth. The court proceedings were a blur of wood-paneled rooms and sharp legal language. My parents sat across from me, avoiding my eyes, their lawyers' weak arguments crumbling against our evidence. The judge's ruling was swift and decisive. The loan was voided, my name was cleared, and my family was ordered to pay damages. The house, still tied to the unpaid debt, was to be sold. I walked out of the courthouse into the crisp Oregon air, the weight of a lifetime of obligation finally lifting from my shoulders. I heard through the grapevine that the bank foreclosed. My parents and Carter moved into a cramped apartment, their golden boy now working a dead-end job. The voicemails came. First, my mother weeping about family. Then my father full of blame. Finally, Carter sputtering with impotent rage. I listened to each one, then deleted and blocked them all. The silence was my sanctuary. Now, I'm in my own apartment. Sunlight streaming onto the emerald sofa that once warmed my parents' living room. My designs are my own. My life is my own. They thought they could evict me with a 2-day notice, but they didn't realize I was the one who had been holding up the foundation all along. And when I left, I didn't just take my things. I took my power back. To everyone who stood by me through this story, thank you. If you've ever had to build a new family from the people who chose you, hit that subscribe button. This community is my home now, and I want you in it.